No stars, no problem for the Sixers, who took down the Heat on Monday night. Tyrese Maxey held it down for the Sixers while both Joel Embiid and James Harden rested. Doc Rivers says that the Sixers were just being careful by not starting the two. Embiid, who has made playing regularly a priority this season, has never played more than 64 games in a season, while Harden has missed time this season with a hamstring injury, but has played 11 out of 17 games since joining Philly. Mad Dog, do you have an issue with Doc resting Harden and Embiid?
Absolutely. This load management's a joke. I mean, what, the regular season, and they're fighting for some positioning as far as home court is concerned. This load, we're going to hurt the quality of and the credibility of the regular season by sitting these two guys out because you got to give them a little break. Jordan didn't, when Sacramento played the Bulls on a January night in 1992, and he had won championships, and it's 2 degrees outside, Jordan played the game. Bird played 81 games a year, bad back, concussions, the whole 9 yards. Magic played. Kareem played. Kareem played 82 games every year. Wilt played every minute of every game every year. And these guys are playing 50, 60 games a year, and they're going to take a blow? I mean, how about the fans who spend a fortune to go to the games? And they want to buy, you know what, Philly's in town tonight. I want to see Embiid play. I'll buy the ticket. And he's not playing in the game. I have a major problem with it, and I personally think it really hurts the credibility of the regular season. What are you telling us? Yeah. You're telling us the game doesn't mean anything. Tonight we don't care if we win or lose. I'm not going to play Embiid and I'm not going to play Harden. I hate it. I think that's a major problem. I think the commissioner should step up long time ago and do something about it. You can't have your stars not playing the games with the ticket prices, ratings, and the fact that they're playing for something. This is not game 81 when everything is settled. They're still playing for home court. Oh, it drives me crazy. I can't stand it. Drives me crazy.
Stephen A?
Doggy, we don't disagree, man. On a very, very serious level, we don't. Because I think that it is a problem. I think the commissioner and the league owners need to intervene. And I have never been one. I just called it down the middle and reported what I was seeing. But I didn't take sides with collective bargaining negotiations. If collective bargaining negotiations were to begin today, I would side with the owners. You have missed games. Seasons have been compromised because of COVID. And then you have a situation where you look at Ben Simmons and what was going on with him. You look at Kyrie Irving and what is going on with him. It's egregious. It's egregious. And even though the vast majority of players don't engage in those things, the reality of the situation is that it is an incredibly bad look. And one of the things that's important to point out, Doggy, and I know this for a fact, a lot of times players are getting blamed for stuff that trainers and team doctors enforced. Because at the behest of executives within the teams, what happened is to protect themselves, looking forward to the playoffs and to protect the investment that they have made in a particular player, I have been told that there have been many situations where a player wants to play and owners and team trainers and team executives collaborate to keep them sitting down and not allowing them to play. Either way you slice it, it's a problem. But Kyrie and Ben Simmons, nobody is really taking into account the damage that the positions that they have taken have done to the game as it pertains to the players. Because you're not going to get any sympathy from the public when you go to the collective bargaining table and they bring up Kyrie and they bring up Ben Simmons and what was transpiring in Philly. I'm not talking about his back injury now in Brooklyn. I'm talking about a whole mental health issue and all that stuff. You're not going to get anybody to be sympathetic to all of that when it comes to Ben Simmons, and you're certainly not going to get anybody to be sympathetic when it comes to Kyrie Irving, okay? And so as a result of that, I do get where you're coming from. Here's my point. I'm not that big against it as it pertains to what happened the other night with Embiid and Harden. Embiid has played 58 games this year. For the most part, he's been there. Harden usually does not miss games. This is not a guy that wants to miss games, okay? And so when I look at that and the way that the Philadelphia 76ers had been struggling because they traded away half their damn team and questions of depth came into the equation, the fact that they went on the court against Miami the other night without Embiid and Harden and beat the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, I think is something that benefited Tobias Harris. I think it's something that benefited Tyrese Maxey and Thibault and the rest of those guys, and I think it's going to be helpful. Overall, I'm with you on your point, 1,000%. But as it strictly pertains to what happened with Harden and Embiid the other night, I understood where they were coming from. Both of them tweaked stuff a little bit. They weren't themselves, and they're about to make a stretch run. And in Harden's case, he doesn't miss games. And in Embiid's case, he's been perpetually injury-prone. So you do have to be overly concerned about any little thing that happens to him, and they still won the game.
Fair. And, Popovich used to do this all the time, and he won the games, too, and he rested Duncan and Ginobili and Parker. I'm all for that. I don't want to kill. This is not about Harden, and it's not about Embiid, because you're right on both counts. Embiid's been injured a lot, and Harden plays. I buy that. It's the theory that we are going to treat the NBA regular season as sort of an exhibition run.
Yeah.
We're playoff 55 games,
and
that's the end of it. And here's the problem. The stars in the league know that home court doesn't mean anything. Durant knows that he can win a game 7 on the road. The old days, the home court meant everything. Nowadays, these guys know they're so good that they can win a game 7 in Memphis. They can win a game 7 anywhere. They're that good. They can win a game 7 in Milwaukee. So they say, you know what? I'm not that wrapped up on a home court. I'm not wrapped up on sitting. Just get me into the playoffs and I'll be okay. But it's a terrible. How am I supposed to get all wrapped up on the NBA regular season when half the stars only play 55, 60 games? I think it's a major.
It's not even about that.
Go ahead.
It's not even about that. It's about them not showing that it's about them at times acting as if they're nonchalant about it. See,
that's what it's about.
Michael Jordan knew he was the marquee. Kobe knew he was the marquee. LeBron knows he's the marquee. Steph Curry knows he's a marquee. So they take it seriously. They embrace the ambassadorship that they hold within the game, and they do what they can to uplift the sport. We got too many guys today that don't care about that.
100%.
That's the real problem.
100%. I agree with you 1,000%. He's right on. It drives me crazy. And the fans get mad.
Of course,
they get fortune on these games, and the guys don't play.
A lot of money.
Come on, it's not fair.
Of course.
That's not what you do. I'm sorry. I talked long enough.
No, you were great. Stephen A., we got a little surprise for you since you're down in Memphis. Blue suede shoes.
Yes.
Looking good from Memphis, SA, like you fit in down there.
There it is. The kid from Akron, now number 2 all-time in scoring in the history of the NBA.
It's an honor for myself, my family, my friends, my hometown, and anybody that's been a part of this journey.
All right, here we go now. We'll do a little history lesson, and we'll give you a little list as far as this is usually Stephen A's list. We learned a couple weeks ago that the quarterback's a disaster. So instead, we have jumped in. We did the Hall of Fame, the top 5 teams last week in the NBA history. Steve hadn't seen any of them, but we did them anyway. All right, here's the list now. Obviously, LeBron is 2. Now, here's my top 5. It'll surprise you that this is based on my own eyes. Number 5, right here, is Pistol Pete Maravich. If you're going to laugh, averaged 44 a game in college, his senior year at LSU, and no three-point shooting in those days. They didn't count him in the NBA. Go look at those statistics from New Orleans. Go look at those statistics from the Atlanta Hawks. This guy averaged 31, 32 a game, shot 44, 45% from the field, scored 63 on Clyde one night against the Knicks. Frazier told me on the air, Chris, there wasn't a person, God, couldn't have stopped Pistol that night. This is one of the all-time great ball handlers in the history of the league, who is a tremendous long-range shooter with no three-point shot. He would have averaged 50 a game in the backcourt if there was a three-point shot in his heyday in the 70s. He's number 5. It's not even debatable. He's number 5. Number 4, this is easy enough at number 4 because the next 4 is Kobe. You have to put Kobe, 81 points, of course, against Toronto. This is an unbelievable assassin. This is a guy who loved scoring points. This is listen, nobody's going to argue with this. Kobe's the 4th greatest scorer in the history of the NBA. I don't care what the statistics say. I'm not interested. He gets your basket, go to the free throw line, go to the hole, do everything great. He's number 4. Stevie, I think, would agree with that. Number 3. Now, you can